Okay, so a little bit of a different video because I'm still ill, and I was going to be doing an off-season update. I was going to be doing what things look like now, all that stuff that, again, nobody's asked for. But I was going to run through the off-season, what it has been from 8 weeks of dieting into what the off-season is going to look like, how I'm going to manage it, tips for that kind of stuff. But been ill, right? I've been really ill. Proper man flu has got us, but that means another week of dieting. I went to go check in on Tuesday. Body was pretty inflamed, a little bit like water retention, a little bit softer, not a really good spot. It's not what I've been working for. So we are gonna do one more week of dieting. All right, I've done my first session today, back to normal. Things should be all right. Things should be all right. And then that'll total 25 weeks worth of dieting altogether. Okay, because it was a 16-week diet for my photo shoot. This will be the 9th week now doing this sort of like little health kind of fat loss stage thing to break it up and start from a better position. But I thought what I was going to delve into today was the topic around performance enhancing drugs, the topic around Ozempic, the topic around fat loss drugs, things that aren't really spoken about too much, right? Everybody's aware that people take these things. Everybody is aware that these things exist, okay? And if you're not aware by now, you're probably speaking to people that do take these things, okay? But I want to explain what these actually do, why these work, and then more importantly, why they're not working for you, right? So if you have experienced or you know anybody who is taking this stuff and, they don't really look like they're using it, they don't really look like they're getting the benefit from it, this is why. So stick in. So I'm going to start this off by saying that I ain't a doctor. I do not have a degree in any medical practice or anything like that, right? This is not part of any sort of educational certificate that I've got. This is just my experience and my understanding of things. So if we look at things such as Clen, Yohimbine, Winstrol, Anavar, Ozempic, Retatrutide, all these things have their place. And when I say have their place, everything has its place in a certain environment or a certain setting, in my opinion anyway. So for example, I do slate Ozempic and Retatrutide and Mounjaro quite a lot on social media. However, I still do believe they have a place. And that place being for people who are in essential need of these drugs. People who are unfortunately in a position where it makes those getting off the starting block a little bit easier for them. What sort of people that entails? People who are completely morbidly obese. Maybe their expenditure is limited through, let's say, something physical, like a physical deformity, a physical disability, potentially a mental disability as well. But they do have their place, right? They are needed in some circumstances. But I'm not talking about them circumstances. I'm talking about the groups of lads and the groups of girls who go to Ibiza, who go on holiday, and just want to look that little bit better for Instagram, because people do care what you look like on Instagram. Sidetrack that. They fucking don't. Anyway, the fact that you or someone you know is willing to stick a drug into them to improve how they look to other people that they don't care about, to me is a fucking stupid idea. Give your head a wobble. But if we take a look at Clen, Ozempic, performance enhancing drugs, testosterone, primobolan, these things only work if you do. Yep, sure, a car is great, but if you don't know how to fucking drive it, you are not gonna get anywhere apart from an early grave. So we are going to look into the 3 main ones that I've heard, and probably the 3 main ones that you're concerned with as well. So firstly being clenbuterol. People take this orally, and then what is going to happen is it's basically going to increase your heart rate. Increasing your heart rate, you are going to be burning more calories throughout the day. Therefore, it is of a higher likelihood that you are going to be in a consistent calorie deficit. Ozempic, probably one that somebody has heard of, or someone sells it out the back of a shitty little salon, and you know someone who sells this. You do. You know someone who sells this and makes a fuck ton off it. What this is essentially going to do is suppress your appetite. So it's not necessarily going to do too much in the way of what your body is actually doing from an expenditure standpoint like Clen. However, what this is going to do is suppress the want, the need for food, which is in turn going to also put you more likely in a calorie deficit. Then we look at performance enhancing drugs, testosterone, Clen, Masteron, Primobolan, Anavar, all the list and more. What these drugs specifically do is enhance your recovery capabilities. Now, yes, they all have certain factors in them that are going to do different things. Some naturally have tendencies to make you more aggressive. Some naturally have tendencies to potentially dry you out and give you that more vascular, veiny, washboard ab look. However, for the sake of simplicity, we are just going to keep these in the category of enhanced recovery. Now, here's the fun part. Here's why it doesn't work for you. Here's why your mate on Coke and Tren still looks like shit. They only work if you do. So if we take Clen, for example, if we are going to burn more calories by taking this drug orally, what people don't even look at is their diet or their expenditure or how much they are moving compared to how much they are actually eating and taking on board. So what do people do? If they are not having the fat loss results as quick as what they want from clenbuterol, they increase the dose. It's the only logical thing that you could do. It's the only smart thing to do, right? Rather than looking at your diet, rather than looking at what you can improve, you blame the drug. You blame something that you thought was a good idea in the first place. It still doesn't work because you don't. And then we go down this path of continuously increasing the dose. You increase the dose, potentially increase the likelihood of side effects. So if you're one for anxiety and you're one for tremors, don't bother. And if you fall, this is something I'm going to mention, if you fall into that category of people who just take Clen to be able to eat more, you need to go get your head checked. I have a feeling this video is going to be more of a rant than it is anything else. Right, let's take a look at Ozempic. It suppresses your appetite, basically meaning you are more than likely going to be taking in less food through the day over a consistent basis. Now, hear me out when I mention this, and please listen. These drugs, to be readily available, is a very new thing. There is no long-term conclusive evidence that you will be fine after taking this for a prolonged period of time. So rather than fixing up the actual fucking root cause of why somebody might be overweight, we delve straight into the medical equivalent of putting duct tape over the mouth. What you're bypassing by doing that is you learning the skill to diet and having the education and the reasoning behind why you should and shouldn't pick certain foods, meals, things based on your goals. So what that creates is a complete reliance on drugs. So what's going to happen the moment you stop taking that on a consistent basis? Your body fat is just going to increase up. So you start feeling that hunger again. You haven't been used to feeling that hunger. You haven't understood and developed different ways to be able to deal with that level of hunger. So if you've had a problem with binging once, you will have a problem with binging again, in my opinion, from what I've seen. He's also going to go out to the special type of people who don't think this far into things. What do you think these drugs do? When I say this, I really mean it. It is not a drug that you are pressing into the lining of your skin on your stomach and it naturally goes, where's the body fat? We're gonna get rid of it. We're gonna do somebody a favor. You are just consuming less because it suppresses your appetite. Now, if your diet is what I would call fairly average for the majority of the population, where it's some days it's 2 meals, some days it's 3 meals, there's no protein in your breakfast, it's a cereal. Nothing wrong with cereal, but you get my point. You don't understand how to get yourself into a good spot with your diet where you are feeling the energy off the diet and feeling the benefits of eating clean. You're still eating shit, just in a lesser quantity. Let me point this out. Your body will burn muscle first. Not last, not second, first. Your body is going to get rid of muscle first. Oh, but Nathan, I don't want to be big. I don't want to get too bulky. Right, hang on. Listen. You need muscle tissue, right? I'm not saying you need to be a bodybuilder. I'm not saying you need to be jacked and shredded out your mind, but everybody needs muscle tissue. The reason why you need it, if you are going to Ozempic for fat loss, is because more muscle tissue on your frame will burn more calories while you are going about your day doing absolutely whatever the fuck you want to. So me, sitting here at the height and weight that I am now, with the muscle mass that I am now, is burning more calories by doing this video compared to if I was doing this video 4 years ago with less muscle mass. Am I doing anything different in terms of activity? No. Have I got more muscle mass on my frame? Yes. Well, just a little bit. The insecurities get to me a little bit, but you get the gist. I'm still dieting. Black coffee. No milk. Tough. Tastes of hunger. Anyway, as you are consuming less food and you do put yourself into a calorie deficit through Ozempic, your body has to look for another energy source in order to get you to function throughout the day. That first source being your own muscle tissue. Now, yeah, you might have smaller biceps, you might get smaller glutes, you might get smaller quads. Muscles in here, they're gonna start to shrink. Muscle tissue is not just your biceps and your triceps, or for girls, your hamstrings and your glutes. It is fucking everywhere. If you are getting rid of muscle tissue, you will burn less calories throughout the day, making your basal metabolic rate a lot lower. So in order to put yourself in a calorie deficit with less muscle tissue without Ozempic, you have to eat even less food, which is the problem that you're trying to avoid. I just want a latte. So you're basically shooting yourself in the foot, in my opinion. And if you dare criticize these drugs for not having the desired effect on you, have you ever pointed the finger at yourself? If that touches a nerve, yeah. But God forbid you might be responsible for your own health. That doesn't mean to say that you should know everything and you should have spent the past 6, 7, 8 years of your life, like I have, studying and researching and trialing and erroring everything to do with body composition and physique development. What I am saying is that every nan and their uncle is an online coach. Every man, child, woman, and their neighbour's dog knows somebody who puts online coach in the bio. I don't, but I'm not a virgin. My point being, ask for help from people who know more than you. If your ego gets in the way of that, yeah, another way to kind of like look at yourself in the mirror, and God forbid you don't know everything on the planet. That goes for lads especially. Don't be a dickhead. Ask for help. If you don't want to ask for help, stay stuck. Problem solved. But my point being with all of that is that everybody dashes to these quick fixes. And someone spoke to me about this earlier today. Would you believe it? I actually have mates. It was my partner, which she is my mate, but you get the gist. Is that we are almost classified as the microwave generation. Now that does sound so wet and weird, but we expect everything fucking instantly. Like literally everything. You can pay for things that you don't have money for, right? You know them people that are on the 4th of Dubai holiday of the year driving a Lamborghini. That Lamborghini ain't yours, pal. Your dick's still small, and your mum and dad have paid for that holiday in Dubai because they do property out there, right? You don't do it through Forex trading, right? Your WhatsApp group ain't that good. But where I was going with that, I might actually have to watch that back. Where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, microwave generation. Point being is everybody wants everything yesterday, right? I do too. I fall in that category. It's the way we've been brought up. It's the world that we live in now. I can go and find any answer at a couple of clicks of a button on my laptop. But trust me when I say this journey doesn't get any quicker. Developing your physique does not get any quicker than what your body can physically handle, whether you're assisted on enhancements or not. If you want more progress whilst being enhanced, the answer is not to up the fucking dose, you idiot. Dim. Everything is subjective, everything is non-linear. It does not go up in a straight line, and more does not always equal better in the context of physique development. It is a bell curve, and that bell curve is subjective for every single individual with their own problems, their own responsibilities, and they are their own tolerances to everything. But we live in this generation where everything is completely fucking instant. So we naturally expect these really high valuable things to also be instant as well. If you get it quick, you lose it quick. You ever seen them people that win the lottery and then you never hear from them again and they're back being a dustman? Yeah, that's what I mean. Now, the big one. Performance enhancing drugs, trenbolone, testosterone, all these fancy words that people tell you that they're on. And then you look at them and you go, where? Where's it gone? Are you pouring it down the sink? Are you lying? You've poured that, yeah. I mean, good for you. Good for you that you told me you're running 400 milligrams of Tren, but you just act like a dickhead. You don't look good though. Like, you've got the side effect of looking shit and being a prick, but you haven't got the side effect of loads of muscle, so yeah, no one's impressed. But I've heard this conversation a lot in gyms and online with people messaging me, Should I start on 250 to 300 milligrams of testosterone? If your sleep hasn't been nailed for 6 months consistently, if your training hasn't been fucking absolutely nailed in terms of your execution, your intensity, your accuracy, your consistency, every day, every week, again and again and again, and you've never missed a fucking beat and you are always progressing, and your nutrition is completely and utterly consistent with digestion, with your energy, with your fatigue management, with your recovery, every single part of it being nailed on, don't look into it. Fix that up first. And why I say that is because these drugs will not make up for your shit skill. Believe me, they don't. I have heard people go, well, I'm not really building much muscle, so I'll just up the dose. Why is that your first point of call to start jabbing more into you? Now, I want to point this out. I ain't against steroids. Obviously not, right? Again, these have their place. Clenbuterol has its place. Ozempic, Mounjaro, all these things have their place. But what people do is they become far too reliant on absolutely anything synthetic that they can put into their body. They just start pushing it and they never again point the finger at themselves. Anything to do with performance enhancing drugs should be pushed last. Maximize your sleep, maximize your training. And that doesn't mean, oh, I went to bed instead of going to bed at midnight, I went to bed at 11. No, take your supplements before you sleep. Make sure that you're winding down, getting into good quality REM sleep. Make sure that you're actually waking up, not feeling like you've been shagged. If you are waking up and you're not getting enough sleep and your sleep quality is shit, and you are waking up feeling like you've just had 10 rounds with Mike Tyson, gear ain't fixing that, mate. You will just end up spending $4 to get your nipples cut open because you've just gone and given yourself gyno. Congrats, a chimp could do that. So, just a very short video, but my point being, right, is that there is absolutely nothing wrong with these drugs. What you do is your choice. However, I believe people are far too quick to go and act on these things without ever thinking about the very basic changes that they could make to have significant positive outcomes, not just in the gym, not just with their body weight and their physique, but their headspace, how they feel day to day, their energy, their ability to organize and their ability to be functioning people. All of that is bypassed and we go straight to testosterone, to Clen, to Ozempic, to Clen. Does that rhyme? But you get my point. In order to develop your physique as quickly and as effectively as possible with the maximum amount of progress that you can, you need to learn from everybody who is in a better position than you. And you need to accept how much you don't know. I can say that because I do that every single day. I assume that I am as thick as shit. And in a lot of cases I am. Like, I don't know any road names. I know the A1. Apart from that, that's it. If somebody goes, oh, you're gonna travel down the A69, gone. It's a good thing I don't leave my house. But if you start every single mistake and every single area to improve with pointing the finger at yourself and going, what could I do better? And really looking at what areas you could improve on, even if they are 5 or 10%, all of that shit adds up. You will get where you want to get to better, safer, and quicker than your mates who take Clen and Ozempic just to go to Ibiza for them to not pull any girls and for them to talk shit about, oh, she wasn't really my type. Shit, mate, you're about a 2 out of 10, right? You're about a 2 out of 10. Who the fuck isn't your type? Don't end up like them people. That's my point. Point the finger at yourself, look to learn, and don't start pressing skinny pens into your stomach when you could just not binge on pizza and shit every night. I can breathe easy now. If you like that, I might do more of these. I'm not too sure. I don't know how this one's gonna go down, so we'll see. If you liked it, give it a like. I'd be interested to know, obviously, what you guys think, what you guys want. I mean, does full day of eating stuff, is anybody that bothered? I don't really think so, but I saw a couple of comments saying full day of eating might do good. I'll do that when the off season comes, which will be next week, fingers crossed. If not, I'm gonna jump out of a bridge, but we will run over everything there and we will make sure that everything is sweet. I can run through the process of what I'm doing. You can learn from my mistakes. You can learn from what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. You could take little bits. I don't know. But again, the whole idea of this is to just be completely honest, speak my mind, and hopefully 1 or 2 people can get something out of this. So if you liked it, like it, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.